Checo Perez, I'm arresting you on suspicion of committing crimes against Formula One, against Red Bull, against one Christian Horner, for failing to get out of Q1 in extremis, for underperforming your teammate as near as makes no difference every single race, for bringing shame on the family name, for putting the car into the barrier on the weekend when the 51% Thai owners are viewing the Grand Prix in person. You, sir, have the right to remain silent, but anything you do say, Checo Perez, may be held against you in a court of law. Ladies and gentlemen, how is this dude still here? Non-rhetorical question. Because I don't understand. If I or you or anybody else committed to their job with such underperformance, again, both in extent and frequency of, we would be gonzo. Nobody would tolerate that. No employer that takes themselves seriously, no employer would tolerate that. So why are Red Bull, and again, this is in stark contrast to Red Bull, who previously have been trigger happy with getting rid of their drivers. Please see, for the avoidance of doubt, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, each and every single one of them got rid of them in an instant, no questions asked. But why now then? What's different? Well, it's Checo Perez, isn't it? He was the one who came out and backed Christian Horner ad infinitum in his lowest ebb when he needed the most. And of course, there was a debt of gratitude to be paid back to Checo Perez. And Christian Horner, like a Lannister, always pays his debts. But now we are at DEFCON 5 because, for the avoidance of doubt, at the Hungarian Grand Prix, the owners were there in person. This was show and prove time, Checo Perez. The summer break was only 2 races away, 1 now. It will happen after Spa this weekend, and therein lies a decision for Christian Horner to be made. Step up to the plate, then Checo Perez. That was the challenge, should you choose to accept it, sir. How about you keep the car out of the barriers? How about you realise that in changing conditions, you, therefore, Checo Perez, being the brilliant, the bright spark of Formula One that you once were, you need to learn how to change your approach in real time. Understand that the curbs are slippier. Of course, it's changeable conditions. They're going to be wet. Keep yourself off them. And if you're going to push the boundaries, Checo, and you want to be on the curb, then correct for it if you undergo a cheeky snap oversteer. Or maybe I'm asking too much here. Maybe it is too much for Checo Perez to keep it out the barrier, notwithstanding the fact that the owners were there in person. Maybe I'm setting the achievement bar far too high. And that's why one Dr. Helmut Marko is flying over to London to meet Christian Horner the week after Spa-Francorchamps. Again, they don't want to make a decision now. It's too early, they say. Notwithstanding the material underperformance, the fact that this dude can't even get out of Q1, that he's getting outperformed as near as makes no difference every qualifying session, as versus one Logan Sargent, who, by the way, is driving a Williams. Notwithstanding the fact that before the Hungarian Grand Prix, from his last 4, he'd scored 11 points. From his last 5, he'd scored 15. As at the Hungarian Grand Prix, he was 137 points shy of his teammate Maximilian Verstappen. As at the time of writing, it will be more, much more. What are we doing then? This makes no sense. Give me the bloody drive. Not even going to get into the debate of whether it's Danny Rick or Liam Lawson or Yuki Tsunoda. Any which one of them at this point can replace Flotsam and Jetsam F1, the man formerly known as the Mexican Minister of Defense, not even worthy of that moniker. Strip him of his F1 pimp card. Not even worthy. It's techie, this. I know I'm being harsh and disparaging, but what are we doing in F1 if not celebrating mediocrity by allowing that dude to keep his place in the premier team in Formula One? This is unacceptable. Give me the role, Christian. If as a prerequisite I need to not be able to get out of Q1, if as a prerequisite, a performance objective, I need to allow for one Logan Sargent who drives a Williams to out-qualify as near as makes no difference every single qualifying session. Give me the role. I can do all of those things. Can I not? Surely. And this is why Helmut Marko, I think, has had enough. He's flying over to London and they're going to make a decision after the summer break on whether Checo Perez continues as a going concern as a Red Bull driver from here on in. What do you think? What do you think in the chat? Do you think they should allow for this? Or do you think they should suck him off? What are we making our decision based on? Is it based on monetary gain? Based on the fact that he brings in $30 million each and every single year? Is it based on the fact that there was a debt of gratitude to be paid? Or is it based on the fact that Red Bull are a racing team and they have a Constructors' Championship that they're fighting for in earnest, as the sharks that are McLaren and Ferrari and Mercedes are now circling? They're going to have to fight for this because nothing is given to anyone in F1. That victories are not guaranteed. I don't care whether Adrian Newey designed your car or whether you have Maximilian Verstappen in that car. You're going to have to earn this thing. The dominance era is over as far as Red Bull are concerned. And so they have to look at Checo Perez. Surely a team is only as strong as its weakest link, is it not? And as at July 2024, how can that be anyone apart from Checo Perez? Get rid of that chap. Oh, and by the way, if we're talking about Red Bull, it gets techie, doesn't it? Because they've now issued a statement saying that Maximilian Verstappen is banned from early morning sim races the morning of a Grand Prix. Oh, the humanity. What are we doing here? And Crofty, of course, on the broadcast this weekend past at the Hungarian Grand Prix, made it clear that he was of the opinion that Maximilian Verstappen's performance was a function of his late night sim racing. Oh, the humanity. You heard me pitch it at Peter D. Windsor, right? Peter said, listen, if the dude, he's a brilliant champion, he's a grown man, if he wants to sim race till 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning to relax himself, to get his mind in gear, then so do it. Allow him to. He's Max Verstappen, 3, soon to be 4-time champion. However, there are those that say this is nonsense. This is Hobson's choice. Get to bed, chap. You have a race the next morning. There's no way that sim race till 3 a.m. in the morning is going to set you up to be the best that you can be for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And some would argue, some would connect the dots between his performance, Maximilian Verstappen's, at the Hungarian Grand Prix, his subpar, some will say, and that he was awake till such a late hour the night before. Oh, the humanity. Banned. Is that what we're doing here, bulls that are red? Is that the level at which we're policing our staff, infringing upon their spare time? And you think somehow that's going to endear yourself to Maximilian Verstappen as at July 2024? Bearing in mind that as far as the issues that Max Verstappen faced at the Hungarian Grand Prix, in that root cause analysis pie, there were many facets. And for most of those, the culpability has to sit with the bulls that are red. Strategy, having a dodgy car, some of the conversation and communication, the level at which it was pitched during the Grand Prix, taking up from Maximilian Verstappen's all-important bandwidth in real time in the car. Red Bull have to take those culpability bullets, do they not? And so how now, on the back of that Grand Prix, are they issuing that ban? We spoke about this yesterday, didn't we? That in order to solve for some of these problems, the contingency around Checo Perez and his ineptitudes and inequities as a driver, to solve for them, somehow you are pushing away one Maximilian Verstappen, bring in a Carlos Sainz Jr. to replace a Checo Perez. And surely that's an additional push factor out the door, is it not, for one Maximilian Verstappen. And this is where it gets techie, because I think when Maximilian Verstappen sees that message about the sim racing, how can he not be compelled to pick up the phone in real time and have a more earnest and honest conversation this time with one Toto, the boy who cried wolf? What are you offering, chap? All you can eat contract. Can I do my sim racing to a 3 or 4? Of course you can, Toto Wolff will say. Well, you know, I don't fancy George Russell alongside me. Toto Wolff will drop kick a George Russell of Kings Lynn, Norfolk, first of his name, in his chest to get a Max Verstappen on board. For the avoidance of doubt, Madeline, Toto Wolff will ask George to cook food and make drinks for Max whilst he's doing sim. Of course he will. Eddie says when they tried in Vegas event before the first race, Sergio, George and Hamilton were driving crafty. So do you guys want Lewis to continue as a Guardiola? No, it's getting techie out here. I think, listen, as this plays out in real time, there are so many fires for Red Bull to fight now. They need to keep themselves a Max Verstappen. They needed to keep themselves, but failed to keep themselves an Adrian Newey, the goatiest aerodynamic mind who has ever goated. They need to sort themselves out a car. They don't have that anymore. They needed to be harmonious to encourage Maximilian to see out his contract through to 2028. They failed in that. They need to manage the stakeholder of their key asset, one Jos Verstappen. Manage the stakeholder with the relationship of the dad of the driver who brought you to the dance, without whom you probably couldn't have won 3 championships back to back to back. And again, managed to seize defeat from the jaws of victory once again, banning Jos Verstappen from driving his son's car at the Legend Parade in Austria. What are we doing, Cristiano? Good luck, chat. Good luck, chat. Like, yeah, mate, you're I don't know. Christian's been brilliant thus far, but listen, empires all come to an end, right? A wise man said that it's a matter of when and not if for Red Bull. Oh, the humanity. But I digress.